Hello. So I'm Shae and this is Eddie, and
Hello.
we're from Squish, which is an illustration animation community, and we're going to tell you... Yep, we good?
Yeah.
Yeah? And we're going to tell you why you like the guys you like. That's pretty much it. Specifically looking at fighting game characters, we're going to figure out why when you go to pick up that fighting game for the first time, you pick that character specifically out of everyone else.
Yes.
Alrighty, so be a bit of a character design breakdown of how on earth we design characters. So character design is really important, especially with fighting games, because if you're getting to know a character for the first time, on a menu select screen, you kind of need to know who you're about to choose, who you're going to play. So the character design actually does tell the viewer who the character is immediately without knowing anything about the character. So this is done, through a few varieties of ways. It can be shapes, silhouettes, colours, little details like maybe bits of their backstory or in their outfits, and so you can pick it because it looks cool. Characters with interesting stories are more likely to get chosen, so it's really important that their outfits are on point.
Yes. And when looking at things like, with colour choices and having contrast and movement, because when you're playing as a fighting character, you need to be able to tell what movements they're actually making with clarity. So that's where silhouette and, again, clarity movement comes in. So you might find high contrast points in their design in their hands and feet or their legs, because that's where you're having those impact movements of hitting other characters in the fight.
Yeah, if you look at the screen, we've got some silhouettes from Guilty Gear characters, and you can kind of tell straight up who they are from the silhouettes, and that's really good. It means that if they were to get messed up in the mess of the fighting game with all the graphics over the top, you can still see who it is and what's going on. The good silhouettes don't just carry on to how they're designed, but also the poses. So each pose needs to slay, so you can tell exactly what they're doing. A blocking pose needs to look like they're blocking, a punching pose needs to look like they're punching, etc., etc. So it all leads into that clarity, which is really important. So now we're going to break down specific characters one by one. We're going to start with Chun-Li because she's one of the more iconic characters. Googling who on earth to talk about from Street Fighter, it was pretty obvious. It had to be Chun-Li. Yes. She's really important overall for women in video games, seeing women in video games. She's really respected. And looking at her, I was like, why? Why her out of all the women? So we're going to figure out why.
Let's start with some...
internet opinions.
Uh-oh.
A good time. Yes. So all I did was went to Reddit. I was like, had a look through some design opinions on Chun-Li. As we can see, she's got thighs. She's hot. Some people are saying that she's not super sexy, and that's why they like her, but let's be real. What else did we have here? Does anyone say anything insightful? Let me see. I can't remember what I wrote. I didn't even write this. Yeah. There's a person calling them out. She's their favourite because they're their first nerdy crush. So she's sexually appealing, but other people are saying it's character, personality, and story. Yeah, she's just hot.
Yeah. Common theme is legs and thighs.
Yeah.
So
look at her.
pop off queen.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yes, on to this next page. So why is she actually cool? Let's actually think about it with character design.
Yes.
So when we look at her design, if we're to look at it from a shape language perspective, she's got a lot of round shapes going on with the buns, the shape of her sleeves, even the shape of her legs are quite round.
Yes, and even looking at the cuffs that she has on, despite them being spiked, all the spikes have the rounded shape to them. You've still got all those round edges, so she has that level of toughness that's conveyed by the meaning of the cuffs, but visually it's all circles everywhere.
Yeah, and that roundness helps the reader to think that she's friendly, that she's nice. It can also convey a sense of youthfulness. I have seen people say that circles are feminine, but I don't know how I feel about that one, but maybe here it's partly going for her. Another thing that's working with her design and is really important for fighting games is the characters need to actually look like they can fight. You don't want to be, like, you're not going to choose a character that doesn't look like they can fight. They actually need to look like they can punch you. And she does. And I think that might be why she is one of the more iconic female characters. Because to my understanding, her looking like she can fight was somewhat revolutionary for the time.
Yes.
And to my understanding, the thighs being so thick is part of what makes her look like she can fight, because she can kick you real hard. Yes, please.
Yes. And even looking at like her color scheme and things like that, going back to that contrast point, with her legs, she's got the dark tights on and the white boots. So it's really easy to track her leg movements when you're playing as her. Same with the arms, with the wrists. She's got these dark cuffs on. It's easy to track where her fists are. So you've got all these elements that, whilst creating a cohesive character design, also individually play different parts in how you actually are able to play as her.
100%. Even looking slightly further into the colours that are chosen, the blue makes her seem calm and like youthful almost, which is an interesting trait to give her. The yellow almost makes her feel like she is the best at what she does. Well, it's not yellow, it's gold, gosh. And the white, which is an interesting accent, is giving that youthful purity look, which they really lean into with her recent Street Fighter 6 design, even though she's more mature, but it makes her look more mature somehow. So very cool, amazing. Alrighty, and now a man.
We've got King. Look at this man.
A man.
Wow.
When I was trying to figure out which Tekken characters to do, obviously you had Jin up there as the most popular, others up there as the most popular, and I saw this and went, yeah, I want to talk about the Jaguar man. So now, on to what the internet thinks about him. There's a lot of people just straight up acknowledging the fact that people choose him because he's got a Jaguar head, which valid, I would. If you put me at an arcade machine, I'd pick him.
It's that and wrestling. So Catboy does wrestling.
Catboy wrestling. Yes. He's so cool. I found a lot more opinions about him just being not fun to play against in the most recent game, which I was like, okay, I want to know about if you think he's hot or not. Give me that, please. So, gosh. Anyway, thinking about his actual design now, here he is.
He has definitely improved visually over the years.
Yeah, look at him. So, does he look like he can fight? Yeah, he straight up looks like a pro wrestler, except he's also kind of a furry. Look at that little head with that little tail. I can't get over how that little tail, oh my gosh. Ridiculous.
We've also got that really interesting shape language where the proportions, his head is tiny in comparison to his body. It is tiny. But when you look at that, you get that feeling of, okay, so his muscles are huge because his head is absolutely small in comparison. So you've got that sense of strength from him with that, as well as the design elements all coming from pro wrestling. So
yeah, and like his physique, he could kill me, probably. But would he? No, he's got a. Yeah, I don't think he would because he's got a Jaguar head. So it's kind of softening the design almost, which is quite nice. Yeah, thinking about the colours, they're loud like him. Look at him. I can't get over that he roars to talk. That was the funniest fact. I don't know.
So looking at the colours again, high contrast points. We've got the yellow against the blue or purple, depending on which game and which skin he's got. Easy to track his movements. Very relevant to his showmanship and his character. Pro wrestling tends to be pretty gaudy.
Yeah.
Very showy, not subtle. So I think also the silliness of his tiny jaguar head and tail fits into that like wrestling persona. So
yeah, so he's pretty cool. Would choose him. Very nice. All right, now we have Abba. Oh my gosh, I love her so much. She's so cool. Yeah, figuring out who to choose for Guilty Gear, really difficult. Unfortunately, for all the other Guilty Gear members on the list, Eddie and I have been seeing nothing but ABBA all over our social medias for the past few months, so it was her. Yeah, Strive.
we will be focusing mostly on her Strive design in this one, but we will briefly touch on her older design as well.
A bit. On to internet opinions. Yeah, it's right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of people think they can fix her. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love her so much. She's so cool.
She could break me, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
Or
Amazing. Hot anime girl, amazing. Everything. I love her. All right. An actual thinking about her. So, Abba, I don't know, do you feel like she looks like she's much of a fighter?
she looks unhinged,
She does.
which I think definitely plays into that. She's got the more lanky design and fluid movements, kind of playing into that unpredictability about her alongside, because, you know, she's fighting with a giant key, which is crazy.
Yeah, that key could kill me. Yes, I love. Yeah, honestly, all of her silhouettes across the entire game, even the poses here, amazing. They're so unique, and I think it really helps because of Paracelsus's just massiveness and like obvious shape, that no matter what pose you put her in, she will always stand out, and you can always tell what's going on when she's doing her moves because of the size of Paracelsus. Yeah. Something that I noticed when looking at her design, just with all of the bandages and things going on, she's got a very downward sloping look to the entire design, which I think adds to that slouchiness. Someone online pointed out it looks like she's holding on to Paracelsus to like hold her up. And I think that downward pull in all of the design really helps accentuate just how heavy and slouchy and tired she is. And insane. In terms of shapes, she's very round shaped. I don't know, I've always felt like she would be kind of sharp looking, but she's not. She's very circular again, kind of like Chun-Li. All of the bandages are circular shaped. Anywhere that I'm like, wow, okay, that could be sharp. It's then like blocked off with a square shape, so she's not giving aggressive, but she feels aggressive.
Yeah, also going back to that unpredictability of her, looking at the way that she's posed, the way that she's animated, it's not, there's a sense of unhumanness to it a little bit. She's got kind of clumsy movements. Her arms aren't quite posing where a normal person's would perhaps. So we've got that sort of element to it as well.
Yeah. Thinking a little bit about her redesign, obviously there's lore behind her going from red hair to green hair, but just from a character design perspective, I think I prefer the green hair to the red hair. The red hair almost feels slightly too loud for her personality. It's almost too bright or aggressive, and the green kind of feels that tired, slouchy, like it suits her more, almost.
You've even got that like base color theory concept of like green and yellow. They contrast, they look great together, whereas the red and yellow is a bit, you're getting more of a warning from it.
Yeah, and when you think about their marriage, well, their couples counselling that happened between the first and last game, it makes sense that they're now in sync with their colours and looking nicer together, so go Queen. Yep. All right, now on to what happens when you palette swap your OC and then it becomes its own character.
Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Internet opinions, shockingly, not as much as the other characters. A surprise.
No one really cares. They're around, they're iconic, they're like some of the most memorable Mortal Kombat characters, but also they're kind of boring.
Just a little bit. They are kind of, like, I don't know, I saw a lot of love for when they take their masks off.
That's just because they're hot men.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, people do love hot men.
it do be like that.
All right. So looking at their actual designs, yet again, colour swapped versions of each other. Nothing too special going on between each other. They do look like they can fight, but...
Yeah, I say Dorito body in reference to like the iconic superhero silhouette of the broad shoulder, tight waist, long legs. They've got the triangular shape, they've got the long shoulder pads that accentuate where their shoulders, obviously where their shoulders are, but it helps accentuate the muscle size. It makes them look stronger and more muscular than maybe they actually are. And you see that in like costuming and stuff. And because the original was motion cap, they weren't drawn characters. That's why they have, I think, the stemming of the very basic design.
Yeah, they're very boring, kind of.
They were literally a palette swap. They filmed one guy in this outfit and then changed the colours, and that was 2 characters. So yeah,
amazing,
but
riveting.
contrasting colours. You've got clearly black and then one colour. So very easy to watch, very easy to track. The shin pads make it easy to track leg movement, and you've got the black bands on the arms that help you track where the punches are. Yeah, so very easy to read in terms of design-wise.
In terms of like silhouettes while posing, yet again, they're not super strong, but I think that's because they're mo-capped a bit. And Mortal Kombat doesn't have the strongest posing silhouettes in general.
They get better.
Yeah, they get better, but it's because they're going for a realistic almost vibe with it. They don't go crazy like Guilty Gear does. All right, and now on to the most important character.
Yo,
oh my gosh.
Kirby's in Smash, and that means that he's a fighting character.
All right, on to the internet opinions about Kirby. Look at
Shae's
him.
fault for this picture, by the way. Shae drew that. That's her
I'm so
fault.
proud of him. I'm so proud of him. Look at him. But no, everyone loves Kirby. Everyone, look at them. Circle, love Circle, an amazing ball. Wow, a friend, a powerful being, everything. No one could hate Kirby. No one can.
Until we found the Hate Kirby subreddit, which led us down an entire tangent about his design.
There's some really unhinged posts out there. I highly recommend have it a read. But yeah, opinion on Kirby. Kirby sucks. Kirby sucks. An irrational hatred towards Blue Kirby. Kirby's an infant, that's why he can't talk. But yet, while he hasn't even grasped the basics of speech, he's a master engineer. Amazing stuff. A good time.
Also, someone saw him twice and they didn't want to and they were mad about it.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
All right, so why does Kirby work as an iconic fighting game character? So he's a very strong silhouette because he's a circle. And circle, circles are friends. So he's straight up circle, friend coded, I should say. Very circular, very friendly, very good, strong silhouette cause circle. A very bold choice. You don't normally see a straight up circle in fighting games, but here he is. The only issue with him being a straight up circle is when you pose him, it's not as strong compared to some of the other characters.
Yeah, that's where the cool animation techniques come in. So we've written like squash and stretch, which is where an animated character or even just a moving object will be animated to be slightly squashed and then stretched in movement to make it exaggerated. And they have to do that with Kirby, otherwise he is just a floating orb.
Yeah, look at those animations right there.
So that makes him a very bouncy character, obviously, accentuating his friendly demeanor.
Yeah.
Harmonious colors, pink, soft, fun, friendly. He couldn't hurt a fly except for in Super Smash and also a couple other games, but that's not relevant.
That's okay. Yeah. I just love him so much. Look at that orb. I wish I was an orb to experience happiness like that. That would be ideal. But yeah, his like circular friendliness, it gives kid friendly, and him being an easier character for newbies, it makes sense.
Yes.
A good decision to make for them. All in all, top tier character design.
Perfect.
Amazing. Eddie's also written here, he can be other shapes if desired. He's normally not like, because he's orb.
Like he did swallow a car once, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, but yeah, peak, amazing, love him. So in conclusion, imagine how much cooler everyone would be as Kirby. peak design, replace all of the characters with Kirby. That's what we want.
Very fun. It also demonstrates how adaptable Kirby is as a character, given that when he swallows, like, any character swallows. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
There's
Phrasing.
There's another word.
We're not saying that word. That he gets little elements of the character. So we thought it would be fun to just do that here because he doesn't get to do that with anyone else.
But a real quick actual recap, if you're going to design a character for a fighting game or you're wanting to do that kind of thing, you need to properly think about, what will their moveset be? Your character needs to be able to look like they can complete that moveset. They need to have a unique standout silhouette so that no matter how they look on screen, you can tell who they are. Each pose needs to be strong so that you can track the movements properly. The colours should reflect who they are, and the shapes should also let the audience know just a little bit about their personality. That's the gist of it. Very important stuff. And that does it. Thank you guys for listening to us.
Thank you. Letting us yap.
Hey. Just to let you know, in case you don't know who we are, we're from Squish, which is an illustration animation community. So we're illustrators and animators. If you yourself are a person that likes to draw things or make things move, we would love it if you would join our little community. Even if you're just interested in possibly finding people to do stuff.
Yeah, draw stuff for you, animate for you.
Yeah, it's a good community. We have some flyers. We have badges as well if you want badges for free.
They're free.
But, yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening to us.